Hello, I'm Chuck Martin, and this is the Voices of the Internet of Things. With me today is Ryan Walsh, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Valqari. Ryan has been Executive Director of RedBishop, President and CEO of Blackknight Holdings, and North American Chapter Director of the Drone Logistics Ecosystem. At Valqari, Ryan is focused on using drone technologies to fully automate that famous last mile. Welcome here, Ryan.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've been doing drones since before drones were cool. Um,
Yeah.
Tell me about the way background of this.
Yeah, so I first kind of got exposed to drones when I was in special operations. I'd done a number of tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and back then it was the Predator and then the Reaper, right? But it definitely left an imprint on me as far as there was something here. And so I had gotten out of the military, and I started trying to understand the wars I had just fought. And so I went and got my degrees in economics and political science and my MBA. And I started realizing a lot of the same core problems were emerging. And when I was going to school, I had started a couple of small businesses. Same issue, right? Logistics, logistics, logistics. And so I found it was just that critical restraint that I was running into over and over again. And so at the time, my co-inventor Alex and I, we started exploring options. How do we solve this? And the drones kind of popped back in. Um, and so we started looking at it and said, this is definitely going to be the future. There's no question about it. And we started doing a lot of research, and we realized that drones are a lot older than people realized. I believe it was 67 when the quadcopter was invented. Yeah, it was crazy. And so as we were doing our prior art research, we just kept getting back into the infrastructure really being the missing link, and nobody was looking at it. So we filed our patent applications on landing infrastructure and mailboxes and receiving pads and all of that. And, we waited and crossed our fingers and got a call
Roughly,
in
roughly,
27.
how back was that? How far back was that?
So we filed New Year's Eve of 2013. So my filing date was
Wow.
January 2nd, 2014. Um, yeah, so we sat on that one for 3 years or so, and I got the call in 2017 from our attorneys, and they said you got Canada, and then you got Europe, and then Australia and China, and so we're like, okay, we've got something here. So we formed Valkyrie and began building.
With the patents, does that mean that other people need to license them from you, or that you can do things that other people cannot?
Yeah, so technically, the definition of a patent allows you to prevent others from manufacturing, importing, selling, or making offers to sell. So I think that's a misconception a lot of people have, and don't blame them. Patents can be very, very dense, boring stuff. But yeah, most people, I think, don't necessarily kind of fully grasp how the patent system works, and it's just the density of it. But yeah, it allows you to prevent others from utilizing that technology in any way, shape, or form.
What does it actually prevent? Like things like delivery of, that Walmart and companies like that are delivering a product a couple pounds at a
Sure.
time. Sort of, is it that sort of thing or something different?
So we're with this acquisition that we're announcing right now. Yeah, it's a combined portfolio of 71 patents, granted patents, covers a number of key areas. Parachutes, just about every parachute. I have not been able to find a parachute system that doesn't fall into one of the parachute patents in this portfolio. Um, all of the commercial winches are going to be infringing on a number of pieces in this. There's a lot of IP on the landing infrastructure, whether it's drone in a box, whether it's drop boxes, whether it's hangars. Pretty much all of them are covered, and it's broadly as possible. I have yet to find a landing pad that won't be infringing on quite a few of our patents. There's a number of key centering systems. So a lot of the different drone in the boxes have centering. We've got a number of different granted patents in there now. And then ground-based radar is a recent one that we just got some grants through some of the very early Flirty filings. So yeah, total of 17 granted patents in the US and 37 in Europe.
Wow. So what is it you're announcing that's new in the drone land?
So that we have uh, acquired the patent portfolio of Flirty. So for anybody that may recall, Flirty was the first drone delivery company all the way back in 2012 when they started. They moved from Australia to the US, I believe, in 2014. But yeah, they were really onto some cutting edge stuff very quietly, surprisingly. I didn't I, as kind of the outsider before, this whole transaction and all, wasn't aware of some of the things that they were working on, but really impressed with the technology that their team was able to put together before they, had to go through the whole insolvency process. So we're really kind of, both honored and excited to carry that torch forward at this point.
What is the Valkyrie system? Is it really about the landing stuff? Is it about the drones? Is it about the software? Like what is it?
That's a great question. So we started, and I can send you videos for this stuff. We we started working on landing specifically. The vision we had kind of, I think, and I mentioned we kicked off in 2017 was that there was going to need to be, neutral infrastructure, so to speak, right? So we don't, as an industry, get tech siloed with a lot of the systems, that some of the companies that we're seeing are proposing, right? And so the idea is, you can purchase a landing station or, mailbox, and you're not stuck with one drone provider only able to receive packages from one drone provider, right? It's really about the ubiquity we can get the whole network out to, right? And so having multi-tenancy is very, very important. Whether that's, airframes, but also different, like whether you can do landed drones with winched drones and different, variations of it. So we've really, really dove into how we can have as universal of kind of standard driving landing infrastructure as possible. And then in 2024, when we announced Northwestern as our partner, that was the first time we have utilized our own end-to-end network. So we ended up having to build our own drone for that. And so we, connected everything with the software, but that was the first network that we ran from point A to point B, the whole thing in-house, top to bottom, technology-wise, but also operations-wise. So our pilots were running that throughout the entire time. And so now our system really, it's a full end-to-end point-to-point system. And so we can provide everything from various airframes, different variations of it, the landing stations, all of the software that connects it. It's really a fully automated system at this point. So yeah, we can really get anybody up and running at this point with all of our technology or incorporating existing technology. Kind of being open architecture like that. And so we're seeing a lot with the licensing side. We're really pushing for tech transfers. We just partnered with the Aero Group. So they're going to be implementing different aspects of our technology into some of their operations. So we're excited to be working with them. But that's just kind of the beginning of a lot of really exciting stuff we have in the pipeline.
In terms of how your drones fly, do they have Federal Aviation Administration approval for beyond line of sight, or does somebody control them, or are they automated? How does it actually work?
Yeah, so one of our pilots, right, would be overseeing one of our networks. obviously we want to have oversight. It's not a fully automated system. While we were working with Northwestern, that pilot was within line of sight, to adhere to all the Part 107. Now, the only time that pilot took control was a very specific roadway to make sure there was no traffic coming, and obviously to ensure, the drone wasn't making that choice. It was a pilot, right? So pilot ensuring no traffic at that point and then giving the drone approval. But the rest of that flight from the entirety of it was automated. And so the next steps being pulling that pilot out. We're exploring, how we can expand these operations, in the pace that we want to keep moving this forward. But it seems like, it's going to be sometime next year that we're going to end up getting Part 108. And I think February is going to be a little bit aggressive, but that's some of the rumors I'm hearing. But, could take till the end of the year. And so we're exploring all the ways possible that we can, manage it from a delivery point of view.
Some of your use cases are emergency, military, healthcare, firefighting, transport. Where do you see the biggest use case, if you will?
You know, um, I don't know that I see one being dominant. I think all of the ones you mentioned are going to be very core for the next few years in this industry. I think we're all seeing DFR as quite a big surprise. Um, and so, seeing the adoption rates that these departments have taken on, it's quite interesting. I think the DJI ban and that whole thing and how it plays out is going to be very telling for where the U.S. market goes.
What do you see in terms of the approvals of FAA? Is that the holdup right now?
Yeah, it's been the holdup for at least the last 5 years.
And the payload, you can actually carry quite a lot of weight on yours. Like some of them are just a couple pounds, like you're like 10 or 15 pounds.
18.
That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what would it carry? What would be some typical payloads?
So, for instance, when we were working with Northwestern's on our last phase of that deployment, we were carrying blood, immunotherapies, and different things for cancer patients. We were flying the labs from the cancer center to the lab. They get tested, and then their immunotherapies get formulated, and then it gets, taken back in. And so, oftentimes, traditionally, that was a 2 day kind of setup. You'd come in and he'd give blood, and it would be, potentially up to 4 hours before the courier came and took it to the lab, right? And then, you're kind of beholden to the 4 pickup times that the couriers were running at any given point through that day. And when you've got a terminal disease, that's time you really want to get back, and so we were able to cut that from, effectively all day 1.5 day type of setups to just a couple hours for the patient. The flight itself was 4 minutes.
Wow. So it sounds like the application you're looking at are very heavy duty. I mean, it's extreme commercial, high value. I mean, this is not someone flying a drone by themselves. This is really big business.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So where does AI fit in all this? AI is in everything, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a couple areas that we're implementing AI, package routing. So different aspects of airframe selection, which landing station, stage what, things like that. Package routing within the actual landing stations, right? So, for instance, drones coming in, and if this is a direct to customer network, right? If that customer has, let's say, disabilities on their account, we don't give them the upper shelves of the system, right? So we use AI to make those kind of choices in real time to make sure, we're optimizing the system as best as possible. But it really comes down to the efficiency of it.
Well, a year from now, we're having a conversation about drones. What will we be talking about?
I think it's going to be all we're talking about, to be honest with you. Once the FAA gets their act together with these, new rules going, I think you're just going to hear. I think this is going to be the thing for the next few years, at least the rest of this decade for sure.
I look forward to that conversation. Thank you, Ryan, and thank you all for listening to the Voices of the Internet of Things. I'm Chuck Martin.
Thanks so much for having me.